Must remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by.
Earl and I in baseball, and it also is the last time that we were on the ball diamond together. This is about 3 years after or 3 or 4 years after we were out of professional ball, and we were asked to play in a game against the Algoa Reformatory down in Osage City. There's the catcher. Langkop catch and Langkop pitch. That is Langkop pitch.
After graduating from Kirksville, Missouri State Teachers College in 1931, Gene became a professional baseball catcher with a good bat. His brother Earl was an outstanding pitcher and played alongside Gene. They were known as Langkop pitch, Langkop catch. Gene played 3 years in the minor leagues before having a heartbreaking, career-ending arm injury. It was a magical time to be in professional baseball, barnstorming against the best Major League and Negro League professionals. He caught the great Dizzy Dean and played against perhaps the greatest pitcher of all time, Satchel Paige.
Barnstorming games were big business as far back as the late 1800s, attracting thousands of fans in towns across the country and providing a chance for African American players to show off their major league talents. For 9 innings, these games allowed blacks and whites to play by the same rule.
Dizzy Dean comes on the scene 1929, turning pro. He's custom made for the Depression. He has the great rags to riches story, kid from the backwoods who comes into the big leagues. He's the premier strikeout pitcher in Major League Baseball.
The most celebrated of all black baseball stars was a tall, gangly pitcher of indeterminate age, Leroy Satchel Paige. Born and raised in Mobile, Alabama, he honed his skills in reform school. A natural showman, he drew black baseball's biggest crowds for 22 years. He may have been the greatest pitcher of all time. On the mound, one rueful batter remembered, Satchel Paige threw fire. He had a whole arsenal of distinctive pitches. His b-ball, jump ball, trouble ball, long tom, his hesitation pitch.
Satchel Paige was a megastar. He was certainly the biggest attraction outside the major leagues, and he appeared in countless exhibition games.
You know, he could come out and he would get a tiny matchbook, and where other people were warming up over the giant home plate, he would put that matchbook down and he would rear back 100 miles an hour and he would throw right over the top of that matchbook because he had that excellent control and that blazing speed. And he'd take that windmill windup, man, it was one of the most beautiful things, kick that leg up, and he would just lay them in there like you've never seen before.
He kicked his leg impossibly high before pitching. Then he'd throw around that foot. Half the guys, one victim remembered, were hitting at that foot coming up. They rarely hit the ball at all. When playing hometown teams, Paige liked to guarantee to strike out the first 9 men up. Then he would call in the outfield and make good on his promise. Because black baseball was played in so many places, and because few black teams had the money to pay someone to keep score, no one knows precisely how many games he won. Paige himself estimated that he pitched in 2,000 500 games and won 2,000 of them, 4 times the Major League record.
In his rookie season sitting on the bench, Gene watched all the veterans on his team step in the bucket against the legendary Satchel Paige, who threw lightning rods as baseballs. These veterans did not want to get hit by one of Satchel's fastballs, which would have knocked them out of the lineup and their job during the Great Depression. So nobody on Gene's team was stepping into the ball against Satchel Paige. Hell, hardly anyone could even see the ball that Satchel threw. Some said you had to start your swing before Satchel even released the ball if you wanted to hit it. In the 8th inning, with the score tied 0-0, the manager said, "Langkop, get in there. Let's see what you can do." Gene was more than nervous and would have been glad to have stayed on the bench in this case. He took a couple of pitches just to see if he could see Satchel's fastball, which he called a white streak coming at you. Then Gene stepped into the next pitch, connected with that streak, and hit a line drive double off Satchel, his team's first hit of the game. He would later in the inning score the winning run for his team's 1-0 victory over Satchel Paige's team. Gene always admitted he never saw that pitch Satchel threw him.
And when two lovers woo, they still say, "I love you." On that you can rely. No matter what the future brings, as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs, never out of date, hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. Woman needs man, and man must have his mate, that no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs, never out of date.
In the fall of 1957, Gene and Dorothy had gone dove hunting in Salina, Texas with a group of friends. When one of the ladies in the group was bending over to light a cigarette, her shotgun discharged about 3 feet away from Dorothy's left foot, virtually pulverizing it. They rushed her to a hospital. The doctors insisted on immediate amputation, but Dorothy would have none of that. She was determined to keep her foot at all cost. But that would require Dorothy going to Chicago for 12 surgeries over the next 9 months. Remarkably, Dorothy did recover. And in less than a year after that accident, when the doctors said she would never play golf again, never skate again, Dorothy went out and won the Dallas City Golf Championships in her mid-40s, competing against 20-year-olds. And then she went on to dominate Dallas golf, winning tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament. In 1959, Dorothy went to Saltillo, Mexico to play in the Mexican Amateur National, where she won, upsetting the long-standing favorite, Elena Larralde. Elena and Dorothy and other members of the Mexican national team became such good friends that she would be invited to travel around the world to play golf with them. Back in Dallas, Dorothy teamed up with Mickey Mantle to win the Dallas Mixed Foursome in 1960, 61, and 62, only to be followed with teaming up with Speck Goldman to do the same thing in 1963, 4, and 5. Longtime friend Byron Nelson was another one of Dorothy's golfing partners, as were some of the women on the LPGA, such as Marlene Hagee, Gloria Fecht, and Joanne Prentice. Dorothy was a natural athlete. She won the Minnesota Junior Championships for diving and swimming. When she was at the University of Minnesota, she won the golf championship on campus, and her teammate was Patty Berg, who would become the largest money winner on the LPGA through the 1960s. In 1962, Dorothy founded the Texas State Junior Girls Golf Championships. She wanted to showcase the great talent that Texas had of female golfers. She also wanted to legitimize young girls in sports and for their high schools to recognize them and create golf teams for them, as well as country clubs to do the very same thing. In 1981, Dorothy would do the same for the senior citizen athletes as she founded the Texas Senior Games held at the University of Texas at Arlington. And yes, Dorothy did go back and skate again. But now her focus would be on the family and taking many family trips. She and Gene would travel the world, but frequently they would hop in the 1937 Packard to go meet friends and travel around the country.
The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs, never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. Woman needs man, and man must have his mate, that no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by.
Gene Langkop was a natural leader and a man of great action. In addition to his very successful business career and being an always loving husband and father, he was president of many organizations. With the Southwest Ex-Pro Baseball Players Association, Gene helped establish the Showcase Games, where college and professional scouts came to the Texas Rangers stadiums for a full weekend to view local high school baseball players that had been overlooked. Over $1 million of college scholarships and many professional careers were produced from this organization's efforts. On June 26, 1999, the Showcase Games were dedicated to Gene Langkop for his many years of distinguished service and his past presidency. Dorothy was asked to throw out the first pitch, and Jimmy was asked to catch it. Dorothy, at age 85, threw an absolute perfect strike belt high down the middle of the plate. I know, I caught it. No man there that day could have done that. Everyone agreed.